How you are brought up, how you are parented, and the circumstances of your life determines who you are right now. Are you a married couple? Are you a single mother? Or are you single and waiting? Is finance a challenge in your marriage? Welcome to Unjustified Empowerment Program, where we discuss this and many more for a better life. Welcome. Hi, this is Maxi. Once more, I want to welcome you to our channel, Unjustified Empowerment Channel, where we shape lives in order to be good role models. I want to thank you this day as we talk about a topic that is very touchy, that is very heart-wrenching, that is painful to imagine, but it does take place. And we want to talk about child abuse. Our society puts a lot of impact, a lot of concentration on other kinds of abuses, but they never put the kind of emphasis that child abuse desires or requires to be put. Because when a child at the tender age, 0 to 18 years, if we don't take care of those children and nurture them well, the society that we end up with is a society that is unsatisfied with life. A rude society, a rough society, a society of children that have low self-esteem, a society of people who have no worth of themselves, no self-worth. Child abuse can be as mild as it can be or as rough as it can be. And when we talk about child abuse, we are talking about an impact that a child experiences either physically or emotionally that has an imprint on this child. Many of us only know about the physical abuse and the sexual abuse on children because that is what is spoken most about. But we never look at the neglect and we never look at the emotional abuse in children. In our part 1 series, we shall look at the causes or some of the possible causes of child abuse. Of course, there is no reason or there is no specific cause that should actually make you to hurt a child. There should be no specific reason why a child should be subjected to torture. But there are some reasons. It is important for us to know the causes of child abuse, some of the causes of child abuse, so that we can be able to watch out for them and also be able to help the abuser and also the child who is abused. I want first of all to blame us as parents because we don't listen to our children. When you come home from your busy schedule and maybe you have a house girl or a houseboy at home and your child beats that houseboy or house girl in your presence, it should show you that this child has been going through a form of torture. Or you realize that your child comes and tells you, mommy or daddy, auntie was touching here, or auntie was touching on their private parts, or auntie pinched me, or uncle denied me food, or those kinds of things. When our children tell us that when we come from work, we pretend that we are so busy, we don't listen. Or you come from work and you find your child has small bruise, maybe even on the ear, in the earlobe, or maybe on the body, and you just ignore. Somebody tells you a child fell, and you just ignore, and you think that that is okay. Even if the child will tell you, mom, auntie did this, uncle did this, or even is referring to a relative who stays in the house, having manipulated their sexual organs, we just look at it and ignore and assume that it cannot have happened. As parents, we must believe in our children. no matter how tender their age is. Us who are busy mothers, we come home and we have seen our house girls have cleaned our babies. And all we do is to pick the child, take the child to rest, and the like. Take time as a mother to look at your child, to clean your child, to check on your child's physique, if for any sign of injuries on the child on a day-to-day basis. You will be able to help your child and protect your child from every abuser. I had a slogan that the reason why I have house girl or somebody extra in my house, it is because of the welfare of my children. And at any time the child stated something that was negative about the auntie who was staying with them, the house girl was with them, I had no reason to keep that child, that house girl. Because the employer of your child is not you, but the child. The employer of your house girl is not you, but the child whom you have, or the children that you have in the house. And so they have to be comfortable. So why do people abuse children? We have sexual abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, and neglect. Apparently neglect comes from us as parents, but physical and sexual and emotional abuse. Why do people abuse children? One of the reasons why children are abused. Maybe somebody was abused in their childhood time and is just trying to revenge the feeling that they had during their time of abuse on your child. The other reason why people abuse children, if it is a house girl you have at home or one of your employees, you are mistreating your employee and you expect your employee to take care of your child, the employee will push that pressure, revenge on your child. We have had cases where children have been killed by house helps. Some of the other causes is you leave a sex-starved man with a young girl, and all he'll do, he will push his lust on this small child. In the southern region of Africa, it was believed that for you to be healed of HIV, you need to sleep or to have sex with a child or with a person who has not known a man before. And so men went onto a rampage of raping infants, even as young as 2 months or even below that. An abuser is somebody who is mentally disturbed. I use that word because nobody in their normal sense would actually go ahead and abuse a small child. The other reason why people abuse children, you think you are disciplining a child. How do you give a hard slap on a child's head in the form of discipline? You are ruining that child's brain. It is not a form of discipline. You cannot hurt a child and say that you are disciplining the child. It is child abuse. So we think that we are disciplining children, and even by denying them food. When you deny a child food in the form of disciplining them, you are abusing that child. Why do fathers sexually molest their young daughters? Are you insane? It is very, very sad. But one of the reasons I have gotten from my research, and for those of you viewers who have called me, and I want to say thank you, is that a man thinks that the daughter reminds him of the wife when she was young. You ruin your daughter's life by messing it up. Child abuse is barbaric. You leave an alcoholic. Some people, because of alcoholism, in that drunken stupor, they molest young children, either beating them physically and hurting them, sexually hurting these children, or even insulting the child, working on their emotional aspects. And when you ruin a child's emotional aspect, you are ruining a future leader. You are ruining a future somebody, because emotionally you kill the child. Child abuse should be discouraged and stopped by all means, by all of us, in all aspects. In the recent past, we have heard of people putting nanny cameras in the house just to watch over what really happens to their little ones. And some of the reasons people give for molesting young children, either the child refused to eat. So if the child refused to eat, did you have to force the child by beating the child? No, that is wrong. The causes that are given for child abuse, there is none that justifies what we do to the children. As a stepmother, as a stepfather, when you marry this woman or you marry this man, you get married to this man and he has children that he got with another partner, you should not be the hand that messes the life of this child by beating them in a revenge way. When your husband or your wife does something wrong, the anger, you push it on your stepchild. This stepchild is innocent. All children are very innocent. They are innocent to your past and to your present sufferings as an adult. Never push it on your child. I've talked about neglect. I've mentioned about neglect as a form of abuse. Yes, your salary is little, but this child did not apply to be brought into the world. The child needs food. It is your responsibility to give this child food. Don't think of child abuse only as being beaten or being sexually abused. It goes round. It is what makes an all-round good child. Come home and you realize your child has some character that is not like, it's not a normal one. Maybe the child, you'll find the child now starts many times, you find if it's a boy, the small boy, he keeps on playing with his private parts. If it's a girl, you'll find that she is all the time picking herself with her fingers. If you find your child, your daughter or your son has those signs of keeping on touching their privates, something that they never used to do, then let's just know that that child, there is a sexual abuse that is going on your child. If it is your daughter and you check her out, you'll find that her private is more swollen than normal. If you are a mother who really looks at your child, takes care of your child and examines your child, you'll realize a change in your child's private parts. Let nobody cheat you that they are just swollen. They are just swollen. They'll not swell forever. Watch. You'll understand that there's something that is happening to your child. Or do you come home and your daughter or your son is busy pushing their hands inside your clothes, if you are the mother, or your son is, or your daughter is putting his hands inside your trouser as a man who wants to unzip you? Do not ignore those signs. When we ignore the signs our children give us, they grow up thinking it is actually normal for them to be abused. Child abuse is a wide issue. But when we look at the signs that our children have, when you get your child has a bruise and the child can talk, don't question him or her in front of the caregiver. Take your child to a private room and reassure your child that you just want to know what happened to them. and you'll not tell anybody. And if they divulge the information to you that they have been abused, pinched, beaten, or done so by the caregiver or even the neighbor, keep this child away from these abusers. Nobody has the right to discipline a child to the extent of hurting that child. The society we are bringing up is a society that needs to have sober people who are determined to be better citizens and who are also determined to show love. If you find also your child has a lot of hate, too much hate and too much anger, all of a sudden, the child has so much anger. When he cries or she cries with such kind of anger, and you're like, my child never cries with this anger. What is really wrong? Is the child sick? Don't just stop at that question, is the child sick? Ask yourself, is it something my child might have gone through during the day? Mothers and even fathers, your child may want to go for a call. Maybe it's a short call. And you find they are crying with pain. Just don't assume. Examine those children and take them to see a doctor to check if there is anything that has happened on their private parts. I've heard of parents who come home also and find their children in a corner. In one corner, all of them heaped there, if there are more than one. And if it is one, you find the child in a corner, maybe even on the corner of the seat, quiet. And even when you come in, the child is scared to jump and hug you. Or when you walk in, the child rushes to come and hug you. Do you ever stop to ask yourself, why does my child withdraw when I am away? It is a sign that we need to watch and look out for. Or if it is a young adult, or even your daughter keeps on hiding in a room. They want to be alone. They even want to lock themselves in. Even when you open the door, they jump up. They're scared. A child is scared. And you are wondering, why is my child so scared all of a sudden? Watch out. There might be something this child is going through that is more than just jumping out. When we watch our children closely, I'm not just talking about our biological children. You may even be a neighbor and you realize that your neighbor's child is undergoing change and you can be able to sense there is an issue. We all have a duty to help children grow up as happy as they need to be. A child needs to grow up happy in all aspects. Let us watch out for the telltale signs of either people who are abusing our children or the signs that our children are under abuse. In our next part, we are going to look at the forms of abuse that our children are likely to be subjected to do. Subscribe, like, share my video. If you have any comment, please leave it at our comment box and we shall appreciate to know what you feel about our video. Thank you so much. God bless you.